0660-713-781-0660.
Radio The Bung listeners, Savoy Restaurant has a Christmas present for you. They have the brisket special. You get $24.99 per pound, perfectly tender and packed with flavor. Second, yep.
Welcome, everybody, to wonderful individuals. First, give it a round of applause for Patrick Prudhomme, political influencer, otherwise known as Real Baby MAGA. And then we have Marcus Johnson here with the Black Conservative Federation, a great group of individuals here to have some great conversations. But let's not waste any time and get straight into it. We're going to be talking about a lot of topics today. One of the most important topics are, as always, President Donald J. Trump, or President-elect if you didn't vote for him. We're going to start off with some of his cabinet nominations. Not waste any time. Let's talk about Kash Patel. We all know his pick for FBI director. The FBI director, I believe his name is Chris Wayne at the time, has now decided to step down at the beginning of President Trump's tenure. In his second term, he has nominated Kash Patel, former chief of staff for the Department of Defense, former acting Deputy Director of National Intelligence, a very qualified guy. Patrick Prudhomme, I want to start with you. How do you feel about Kash Patel?
Absolutely. Look, Kash Patel was a target of the FBI, and now he is going to be the leader of the FBI. He's going to be the director of the FBI. And all the people that are worried about him being the FBI director, if you've done nothing wrong, then you have nothing to worry about. If you didn't go after him for political vengeance, then you have nothing to worry about, unless the left is now willing to admit that they have mistreated people simply because of their political ideology. And now those same exact people you've mistreated are now back in power, and now you're running scared. Kash Patel is overly qualified to be the FBI director, and I think he's going to do a fantastic job.
Mr. Johnson?
I was just going to piggyback and just say the same thing. Everybody recently have been bombarding Trump's picks and nominations for his cabinet, but Mr. Patel, he is overly qualified for this position, being, like I said, chief of staff and things of that nature. So this was a slam dunk pick for President Trump, like I said, President-elect for those who didn't vote for him, but for President Trump to be in his cabinet. So Patel, this is a great pick. He's going to do a great job as a new FBI director. So, hey, I'm all for it. Let's go, Patel.
Absolutely, and Kash Patel, I believe, is very qualified. You know, his resume is long. When they nominated him, they posted his resume and just debunked any of the claims that he is not qualified for that position. He's going to be joining a very well-rounded cabinet. Unlike, his President Trump's first term, he wasn't 100% prepared to get into that office. He made some bad picks in the cabinet. He made some John Bolton, the national security advisor. That was a bad pick, I believe, in my opinion. But now he has a lot of people who are qualified, who are actual supporters of him. We've got Kristi Noem now in the Department of Defense, Department of Homeland Security, Pete Hegseth in the Department of Defense, a lot of great people in Commerce and Treasury. But we have a newly formed department, or more or less advisory role, from what we know from the Trump transition team. We have the Department of Government Efficiency, led by Vivek Ramaswamy, former presidential candidate and successful business owner, and Elon Musk, as we know, president, owner, founder, all of these great things of Tesla and SpaceX. I do want to touch on Vivek Ramaswamy very quickly. He was a former presidential candidate, ran in the 2024 presidential primary for the Republican Party, dropped out fairly early, but he had some great moments in the debate. He's been a keen surrogate for the Trump campaign during this tenure, during his time on the campaign trail, and now he's stepping into this role as I believe the correct title is the co-chair or something similar to that for the Department of Government Efficiency. I want to talk, Mr. Johnson, how do you feel about this role? What do you think he's going to play in this role in the Department of Government Efficiency? And do you think they'll be efficient?
Like I said, Vivek, he was a great candidate during primary. I think one of the few candidates running for president that I think right now President-elect Trump was worried about, because he had great mass appeal. Even people on the left like Vivek. And I was thinking, man, he could probably go all the way where it could be him and Trump. But like I said, he did have to drop out early, but I was realized he's going to do great things when it comes to our nation. And by him being in this position, I think it's really good that President Trump said, let me tap him. Because like I said, you always want great people around you. Because, I mean, when it comes to the president, that's why he has a cabinet. But to say he's not really in the cabinet, it's just a separate entity. So we can use his intellect, use his wisdom, and to say we need government efficiency. That's what we're all about. Especially for our party, we're all about government efficiency. So to have him there as his brain trust child, awesome. And to piggyback with Elon Musk as himself, like I said, the Tony Stark of our generation right now. But, hey, them together, I think they'll be a great combo pick.
Absolutely, and that is right. Our government does need efficiency. I believe now the Department of Defense has failed its 9th audit and has been able to track a lot of the money. We give it the most money of any government agency, of any government department, yet here we are not able to account for where that amount of money has gone. And I believe it's a spin in the face to the American taxpayers. Mr. Prudhomme, how do you feel about this department, Vivek, the Department of Government Efficiency, and their role in the next administration?
Absolutely. We've already kind of seen them do their job. We just saw a spending bill that was over 1,000 pages long. And Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, they said, absolutely not. It's a bunch of pork. And they got the bill down to, I believe, 144 pages. That's what we want to see. That's what government efficiency looks like. You take something and you say, okay, these are a lot of ideas. Now let's take the main concepts, put them into a bill that would actually help the American people. And Rep. Jasmine Crockett, everyone loves Rep. Jasmine Crockett, don't we? Right? She went on Twitter and she said, what elected office does Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy hold? Well, let me do a little civics lesson for the people that are listening. There are 4 branches of government. There's the executive, the judicial, the legislative, and the we the people. And we the people gave a mandate to the Republican Party, to the nation, that the Donald Trump idea, the Elon Musk, the Vivek Ramaswamy, that is what we want. So the we the people branch of the government has basically said we want some government efficiency. And we believe that Trump and the people that have backed him this entire way are going to get us there. Who was one of the loudest mouthpieces for government efficiency? Vivek Ramaswamy. That's why he was a shining star in the presidential primary, and he's had a great grip on the new Republican Party, whether people want to admit it or not. So to all the Democrats out there, the unelected bureaucrats no longer have say, and we the people are now taking the job back of what the unelected bureaucrats were doing. So thank you, Elon Musk. Thank you, Vivek Ramaswamy. We 100% support the idea of going there and speaking for the average American and saying, hey, if you can't do your job right, we'll get someone else to do it for you. You're not, invincible. There's a such thing as primaries. We will get you up out of there. You will lose your reelection if you cannot make the government efficient, not for yourself, but for we, the people of the United States.
And I'll take it one step further. Just when they're coming in with this old, with the spending bill, efficiency, I say even transparency, because a lot of the American people don't know what all these bills, it is overinflated because they got a lot of fluff in there. We got to cut the fat because we just don't know what's in those bills. And like I said, our elected officials can't just go in and say, I can't read 1,000 pages in 2 days. Even all the staffers. I was a former staffer. I was like, we can't read all this enough time to fund these governments. So I say transparency. We need somebody like Vivek to come in and say, hey, this is what's happening. And that's what American people have been always saying. I mean, like I said, you can even just switch them around. Efficiency, transparency, because American people, we have been saying what is going on with our government. So with Vivek and Elon coming in, I think that's what American people are going to get. Like I said, we the people are going to see what government is doing, because that's what a lot of politicians run on transparency, and yet we still don't see anything, ironically.
Absolutely, and you did mention the continued resolution, the CR, that the House and the Senate passed last night. A lot of people voted against it. I mean, there's multiple copies of it. We had the original copy that was thousands of pages long, which was crafted and shaped up by the political establishment, Chuck Schumer, and all of those. The Democrats got everything that they wanted in that bill. And then Elon Musk and President Trump and all these people came out and said, no, we're not going to do this. This is bad for the government. And they passed and they proposed a new one. That one failed in the final vote. A lot of Republicans did not support it. A lot of Republicans voted against it due to the fact that it was going to raise the debt ceiling to 2027, and they didn't support that. No. We had a lot of representatives like ones right here in Houston. Wesley Hunt voted against it. A lot of representatives in Texas. Chip Roy was a very, very loud advocate against the continued resolution and was featured in one of Trump's Truth Socials, which is never a good thing if you're not getting an endorsement to be featured in Trump's Truth Social. And I want to get it here if I can. The Trump's Truth Social that he said about Chip Roy. Let me just pull it up right here if it will load. Let's get it here real quick.
I have it.
You have it here?
I have it.
All right. So what he essentially said, give us what he essentially said.
Yeah, the very unpopular congressman from Texas, Chip Roy, is getting in the way, as usual, of having yet another great Republican victory, all for the sake of some cheap publicity for himself. Republican obstructionists have to be done away with. The Democrats are using them, and we cannot let that happen. Our country is far better off closing up for a period of time than it is agreeing to the things that the Democrats want to force upon us. Biden is president, and it is his obligation to properly lead. We are there to do the right thing, and we can't agree with what Biden and the Democrats are demanding. Weak and ineffective people like Chip Roy have to be dismissed as being utterly unknowledgeable as the ways of politics and as to making America great again. Put America first and go for the victory, even if it means shutting the government down for a period of time.
That's right. And a lot of representatives called for the government to be shut down because the bill was so bad. However, they did come to a common consensus last night, and they were able to pass the CR. The Senate passed it today. Once again, a lot of senators voted against it. We know the infamous Mitt Romney voted against the bill. He said that it was because it was his final vote as a senator, and he said that it was because he cannot continue to support bad spending. So I do want to get you guys' comment on that. I'm going to start with Mr. Johnson about the CR, about all of what Trump's been said, about how bad the bill and how certain members of our party were supporting it, and just in general, how we feel about the movement moving forward with the CR and moving into Trump's administration.
Oh, just like I said, with the CR, it is raising the debt ceiling. And once again, President Trump he's not trying to do it no more. Like I said, we've already had over the last 4 years of inflation and the debt just going higher and higher. And now he's finally coming in saying, hey, no, we're not doing this. And unfortunately, some of us in our party may be in support of it. Like I said, unfortunately, President Trump said it might be cheap publicity for him and maybe for a re-election campaign, even though now it seems like we need to get some more people for the primary, because now President Trump hey, you're not on board, you got to go. Because then you're hurting the American people. It's all about the American people, we the people. And this bill would have drastically raised that debt so that we do not need to be paying no more. Mm-hmm. So, hey, I am all for calling out politicians that's like, hey, if you're not for the American people, you got to go. Right. And that's on both sides.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to 100% agree there. I want to read a tweet that I put out in response to Chip Roy and the Young Conservatives of Texas coming out and saying, we're the greatest friend conservatives have. I said, I have immense respect for the Young Conservatives of Texas, but let's be clear. Chip Roy is trying to play the role of quote-unquote savior. It's about time the GOP stands firm and stops capitulating to the Democrats and their relentless demands. The American people decisively rejected the Democrats and their policies with the conservative mandate delivered on November 5th. It's time for the GOP to act accordingly. The President Trump's bill, right? It would have expanded the debt ceiling for a certain amount of time, right? The Democrats wanted to just raise it for maybe a year or two, but it's still with this excessive amount of money. No, let's use that same amount of money, but make the government have to use that over a longer period of time. Chip Roy gets up there and says, we're still adding to the debt. Well, yeah, when you're in debt and you spend money, you're adding to the debt. So unless you're trying to say that we shouldn't spend any money at all, what are you really saying? Mind you, Chip Roy is the same person who, I'm not a fan of Chip Roy. He's the same one who called for President Trump to be impeached on multiple occasions. Chip Roy has, endorsed Ron DeSantis in the primary. So we know what Chip Roy is. We know what Chip Roy is about. So we're not surprised there. But it's time for Republicans. We got to admit, okay, Republicans and Democrats, we made a mistake. We let the debt get out of hand. And when you were complaining, you would complain about debt on Fox News and CNN. Yeah. And then you would turn around and you would send billions of dollars to Ukraine. So which one are you truly about? Are you for ending spending, Or are you just doing that as a campaign talking point to get reelected? And that's what Chip Roy and a lot of the Republicans who voted no on this bill were doing. They just wanted a campaign talking point.
And I like to say, when you said him being coming in as the savior complex, once again, we're not saying we're not against bipartisanship. Don't get me wrong. We love to work together for the common good of the people. But when, like I said, we can see when you're trying to come in with your white cape to say, I'm going to do this. No, we don't want that. We don't need no more hero figures, things of that nature. Hey, if you want to come together, come to the table, we're all for that. So we're not over here saying bipartisanship is a bad thing. No, but once again, it's still common sense. And once again, you can't spend your way out of debt. There's no way to do that. You got to save or use the money that you have right now. Like me as a homeowner, hey, I know my set amount of money. I've got to save this so I can either get more money or get out of it. You just can't spend your way out of money. You cannot do that.
Yeah, I want to add to that because I'm not sure if anyone watched, but Chip Roy stood on the House floor and he went on this huge rant about why he's voting no on the bill. And then right after that, a Democrat, I don't know who she is, but she's got like the blue hair swoosh or something like that, crazy. She gets down there and is talking about President Musk and says the exact same reasons she's not voting for the bill as Chip Roy. Chip Roy, you're such a conservative fighter. At one point, you have to say, wait a minute, my talking points and their talking points should never cross when you're talking about spending, because you are the same person that got up there and said they don't know what they're doing either. So you sounded like a hypocrite because we went up there to bash them, and then you turned around to make a backdoor deal with the same person you bash. But like you said, I'm not saying to be against bipartisanship. We have to work together 100%. Jasmine Crockett pointed that out. That's one of the things she did point out. But at the same time, we have to honestly admit that what Chip Roy and a lot of the Republicans did were they wanted their 5 minutes of fame, and they wanted to play savior, and that's what happened.
Right, that blue hair lady is Representative Rosa DeLauro. She's a ranking member of the House Appropriations Committee, and from what I know from individuals who work on Capitol Hill, she has a lot of cats and she drives a Subaru. So that's she's one of those individuals. I'm not going to say anything else on that.
She's the childless cat ladies J.D. Vance was talking about.
Yeah, they should have less votes than everybody else. But I do want to add on to the CR. So since the CRs passed, and the first two were killed, one by the internal party and then one on the House floor, a lot of people are saying that Speaker Johnson is on the hot seat, and a lot of representatives have gone out and said that they won't be voting for Speaker Johnson when it comes down to nominating and electing that speaker. And new names have arisen out of the shadows once again to be the Speaker of the House. One name has continuously been pulled into the air and drawn out when the seat got hot on speakers, and that name is Representative Byron Donalds, who on multiple occasions has been a go-to pick for a lot of the party. He's a member who's able to get along with the Freedom Caucus, who's a member to be able to get along with the Republican Study Committee, both keen groups of individuals with ideologies who clash a lot internally and causes a lot of infighting, but he's been able to work greatly within, been a great surrogate for President Trump, being on when he was President Trump during the debates. He was on that team there. He was wildly active with the Black Conservative Federation and wildly active on Trump 47 on that team. A lot of people want him to be speaker. I want to get you guys' comment on how you think Byron Donalds should move forward, how the House Republicans should move forward, and how everybody feels about Mike Johnson at this time. I want to start off with Patrick.
Absolutely. I love Mike Johnson. Louisiana man. I love that. But I think Republicans have to be careful. You know, the moment someone does something a tiny bit wrong, we're ready to throw them under the bus, and we're ready to get rid of them. Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the House, not the Speaker of the Republicans. Mike Johnson has to work with both the Democrats and the Republicans. He does not have a choice. It is a very, very slim majority, and I think going into the next Congress, it'll be even slimmer. I think it's like 1 or 2 seats. So we got to be very careful with that. And Mike Johnson knows that, and that's the game Mike Johnson is playing. He's playing that steady wrong game, and I understand. But if Mike Johnson does not have the votes and we need someone, I don't think there's anyone better than Byron Donalds. First off, how great would it be for the first minority Speaker of the House to be a Republican? That's number one. We could break so many stereotypes, so many things about the Republican Party by putting Byron Donalds up there. And Byron Donalds has shown that you can't push him around. You know, you know the quote better than I. He was like, I'm 6'5", 2 something. No one's telling me anything, right?
No.
You know, no one's pushing Byron Donalds around. He has a mind of his own, and he fights for the true conservative movement, which is what we need right now. He has a spine. He has a backbone. And what more do you want from someone to lead the people's house than to have a spine and a backbone and to be just straight up honest and be like, hey, I don't care what you say. You're not pushing me around. So I 100% support Byron Donalds to be the Speaker of the House. But at the same time, I would also be 100% okay with the Republicans coming together and saying, hey, Mike Johnson, you know, he's done a okay job, not a perfect job, not a 10 out of 10, but he's passing. Right. And if we want to keep him there, let's do it.
That's right.
I feel like I have a conflict of interest going on to this,
Right.
like I said. Representative Johnson, I'm from Louisiana. That's South Louisiana. So I remember when Congressman Johnson was running and when he got elected, I'm like, all right, go Mike. Did not in 1,000 years think he would be Speaker of the House, especially coming from Louisiana. I'm like, oh, go home team. But now, like I said, he has done an okay job. And like I said, that job is not easy. Because like I said, you do have to work with both sides. Once again, that bipartisanship I was talking about. You have to work with both. And like I said, when you make one mistake, we just can't have that knee-jerk reaction to ready to kick you out. Like, no, his job is very difficult. He knows the pressure that he's doing, and he's been doing it gracefully ever since he has been elected to Speaker of the House. But, like I said, for Byron Donalds, like I said, he is our national chairman here at the Black Conservative Federation, and so I've been following him all along his political campaign. So, like I said, if he want to be picked, and I remember when they first was mentioning him to be speaker, and everybody was beating him up from the left. And like I said, I love his quote, I'm 6'5", I'm 235 pounds, can't nobody bully me around. He is a full-on black man. But once again, he can work with everybody. He is that. So, and also, he's young. That's what the GOP do need. We need more younger faces. So just like when President Trump picked Vice President Vance, it's like he's going that younger route because we know the party needs this for the next 10, 20, 30 years. So to have somebody like Mr. Donalds and Congressman Donalds in there would be great for the party. Great for the nation also, but like I said, the party in particular. So, well, like I said, for me, it's a conflict of interest. He is our national chairman for the Black Conservation, but also I'm Louisiana boy, go Mike Johnson. So.
Right, absolutely. And like Patrick said, and like both of you guys have reiterated, the nominee to be Speaker right now is Mike Johnson. The House caucus voted on it. When President Trump came to D.C. and spoke with the House conference, they all supported Mike Johnson, and President Trump endorsed Mike Johnson to continue to be Speaker. So we recommend, let me not say recommend, but having unity in our party is the most important thing when we have such a close majority. Right now, what we know going to the next session, the 119th Congress, it will be a 220 seat majority to 215. So it's going to be razor thin, and there is one vacancy, I believe, left with the resignation of Matt Gaetz at this time. Right. So that would more than likely be a Republican seat. So it would probably be 221 to 215. So, but I do want to move into what the Democrats like to call President Musk, but we all know him, the great President, Elon Musk. See, they've gotten to me now. The blue hair lady, she's in my head now. Can't get that. That's a sight to see. But he was a transformative for the Trump campaign in Pennsylvania, transformative in a lot of key states, and now taking a big role into moving our government into an era of prosperity and efficiency. As you know, he's moved to Texas recently. He voted for the first time ever here in Texas in the 2024 presidential election and voted for President Trump, of course. A lot of people are moving to Texas for a reason, though, because of California. We all know the infamous California under Gavin Newsom, in the words of President Trump. And now let's talk about Elon Musk. Let's talk about all of that he's done for the Trump campaign, his new role moving into the administration, and of course, all of his efforts in Texas alone. I want to start off with Mr. Johnson.
Oh, like I said, Elon, when it was huge when Elon said, I'm moving from California, because everybody nowadays saying, if you drive anywhere in Texas, you're gonna see nothing but California license plates, and yet everybody always says California, this great place, the land of prosperity, things on it. Everybody on the left would say this, and once again, as a good Southern boy myself, why is everybody coming here? And I've had conversations with people from California that were super radical, blue-haired some people, them old coworker of mine. So he was saying, when I moved here, it's like, man, the taxes are low. I have more opportunity. I can help my family. He's moved his family from California to Texas, and he told me, I was the UCLA radical guy, and he kind of here like, man, this is really great. And I'm thinking, and Elon followed that trend and come here, bring all the business over here, and once again. But granted, we do not want you to California or Texas. We do not want that. Don't get me wrong. Do not do that. But Elon having that and helping President Trump in this win has been great. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, he's a brilliant man, and he realizes it because he was that guy on the left that everybody wanted. I mean, everybody has a Tesla right now. Hey, gas-powered electricity vehicle. But he's realized the agenda has gone too far. So he's like, I need commonality, and he said this is for the right. And he went on with President Trump, which has been great and help us win in basically a landslide when everybody thought, oh, this election going to be so tight. Landslide. So him coming into Pennsylvania, him going on to Doge now and using his billions to help us would be great. So hey, thank you, Elon Musk.
And he has been very fiscally smart. When he took over Twitter, I believe he cut the employment down by almost half, got rid of half the people. And I know he wants to do something similar to that. We know right now a lot of our government agencies, a lot of our government employees don't even show up to work for that, and they just collect their paychecks. So Patrick, I want to get your take on this. I want to get your take on just Elon Musk, his role in the campaign, and his I guess advisory role in the next administration.
Absolutely. First, I want to say thank God for Elon Musk buying Twitter and bringing back free speech. When he did that, I think it really highlighted that, wait a minute, there really is something going on. When he started releasing the Twitter files and showing what was really going on behind the scenes, it said, wait, there's something really happening. And in the beginning, I will say, I didn't take Elon Musk seriously. I was like, he's just trolling. He's trolling on Twitter. He's not going to actually do it. And then he did it. And I was like, interesting. And I was like, there's nothing. Then he changed Twitter to X. And then we started seeing he slowly but surely was soft launching him coming out and saying, hey, I'm a Republican. And I'm voting Republican for the very first time. And so I'm grateful that he had what it took to stand up, thinking, hey, I could lose my billions. I could lose my millions. I could lose everything I have. But he did it anyway. He stood up to the cause and he fought. And so I'm very thankful for him for doing that. Number two, I want to say, if he can successfully cut down the government like he said he's going to, that would be huge, right? Like you said, there are people that come into work and they don't actually do anything. They don't do anything. They just kind of sit around and they collect the check. And so seeing that the mandate that was given by we the people, the mandate that was given on November 5th was given, it's time that we cut the government down and we start saying, hey, listen, either you're going to do the job that you were hired or elected to do, or you're going to get out. And then we need to get rid of some of the jobs that don't really need. A lot of people, they're working there, they bring in their cousin Ray Ray and say, oh, that's my secretary. And Ray Ray ain't did nothing. Ray Ray ain't took a note. Ray Ray ain't sent an email. Ray Ray ain't did nothing but collect the check. So we got to come in and we got to crack down on that and say, hey, the government, this is big business. As Eric Mays would say, this is important city business that we are doing, right? So if you can't do the important business at hand, then you have to go.
And I would say, like I said, us cutting down government. Now, yes, government is the number one employee of the country. Don't get me wrong. And a lot of people are hoping that the government is having more jobs. So we can actually, a lot of people have a lifestyle and things of that nature. So we're not saying we just want to get rid of all the jobs. Like, our people out there are doing their jobs in government. But like I said, for us, we want smaller government by cutting those jobs that are ineffective. Like I said, we're all about efficiency. But at the same time, when you do that, it saves you taxpayer dollars that it can go to other projects like better education, road improvement, because we live in Houston, the roads suck. But by putting those jobs, unfortunately, yes, some people may lose their jobs, and some of the people may need to lose those jobs because they aren't doing their job. But once again, it's all about saving the taxpayer dollars. I want more money in my pocket. So if there's any way to come back to do that, Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. And just to pick up back again, another person coming from a great Californian in Joe Rogan, he just moved to Austin. He moved his whole operation to Austin. So once again, a lot of people from that land of prosperity of California, from Governor Newsom, they're all coming here. They're all coming to the South. Even Louisiana is growing. Like I said, everybody's been to Georgia, things of that nature, but they're all moving to Texas. They're realizing we're being overtaxed over there in California. This is not sustainable no more. We need to come somewhere where you have opportunity, where you can be you, and that's the great state of Texas.
I want to add on, for those of you who are moving here from California and New York, listen, you ran from those policies, so please do not come here and vote for those same policies. Okay, like you said earlier, do not California my Texas. You ran from it for a reason. It's okay. Some of you are going to have to bite the bullet, take the pill, whatever you want to call it, and start voting Republican. I know it hurts, doesn't it? It sucks. But guess what? Your life will be so much better.
And that's 100% true. They did run from those policies for a reason, and it's because our government is so inefficient. We have so many people who just have so many different titles. Our government is big on titles, handing out titles. You're the director of Project Global Protection and Security. You're the commissioner for equal opportunity and protective services. You know, and like he said, Ray just got out of high school. Why is Ray the commissioner of this project? So we have an issue with our government, and we have a lot of nepotism in our government as well. We know a lot of people, they get into these roles, these roles, especially we've seen in this administration. The current one, they get into these roles, and now everybody in their family has a job. Ray and John haven't worked a job.
Ray Jr.
John?
Haven't worked a job.
I knew a guy, my neighbor named John Johnson.
They haven't worked a job in almost 40 years, and now they're the deputy secretary of this department. So we have an issue, and we look forward to seeing Elon Musk and all of these great people take a role and take a stand against this government inefficiency. I want to get into our last two topics, which is a big thing, especially for Texas, which is illegal immigration. As we know right now, there is a crisis, an epidemic, a national security concern at our southern border, and the Biden-Harris administration has done the effectiveness of nothing to address it, and they have, as a matter of fact, as we know now, their solution to solving the border crisis is to sell our border wall. They've begun selling pieces of our border wall, and President Trump and key players like Ken Paxton, the Texas Attorney General, have taken a stand against that. I want to talk about, immigration, quickly define what illegal immigration is versus legal immigration, and how President Trump has proposed to fix it, yet still make the system efficient for people who want to do it the legal way. I want to start with Mr. Johnson.
Okay, so this has been a hot topic for a couple of years now, especially with this president campaign recently. And for me, I might have to go on a small soapbox for a second. Once again, us in the Republican Party, we should understand and let the people know we are not against immigration. We are against illegal immigration. I tell people all the time, we don't have a deportation problem. We have an immigration problem. People want to come to this country because it is great. But at the same time, there's policies and procedures to do so. We want you to come in. Like I said in statute of labor, give us your poor, give us your sick. We're here for you. But once again, there's procedures to do so. And by you just coming in, crossing these borders, things of that nature, and that doesn't help us. Once again, government efficiency. You're coming in as an illegal, and you're getting all these taxpayer dollars that should be going to people who are natural citizens or people who have went through all the proper procedures to become American citizens. Because a lot of people that do come here, they are ecstatic to be an American citizen. When they take that test, I am finding, because I've talked to many people who are illegals, don't get me wrong, and they're saying, hey, I'm waiting to take my test. And they're mad when they do come in and they say, hey, they're making us look bad, because at least I'm trying to do it the right way. So, and President Trump is like, hey, don't sell this border wall. Like, we're trying to do everywhere where it can be efficient. Once again, the word of the day is efficiency. We want people to come in, because this is a great nation. That's why a lot of people want to come here. And once again, it's not just only illegal immigration of people just coming on the board and things like that. Illegal immigration is also people who came on work visas, student visas, and they stayed here past their visa. That's also illegal immigration also when you think about it, because you should renew it, but they didn't. And once again, they're still getting services and taxpayer dollars from us. No, but once again, just go in, do everything right, and you go. Like I said, we want people to be American citizens. Like I said, this is a great country, but once again, there are procedures to do so, and that's the main thing. So when people think, "Oh, Republicans just we don't like immigrants," like no, we do. No. Once again, the word is illegal. Everybody keep forgetting about the illegal word. We have no problem with immigration. It's illegal immigration. And like I said, First President Trump finally said, we need to put a stop to this. And the Dems have done a horrible job. And sometimes they thought this was going to be the new way to get more voters and to win an election. And yet we saw November, that didn't work out. So once again, hey, please come to America. We are open. But once again, there's a reason how to do that.
Patrick?
Absolutely. There's a saying that I love. I heard it once, and I repeat it every time I'm speaking on a stage. America is the world's first and only option. So 100% I understand the reasoning of wanting to be here. It's the land of the free, home of the brave. Everyone wants to live out that American dream, even though with the way things are going now, the American dream was very close to becoming the American nightmare. So we thank God for November. But at the same time, we're still a country. We still have laws. We still have rules. We still have regulations. And so if you try to do that anywhere else, it's a problem. But the moment you start talking about it in America, you're insensitive. These are just people trying to make it. I 100% agree. I want you to come here. I want you to be here. I want you to have that same shot that I had. But if you're going to do it, you got to do it the legal way. You got to do it the legal way. And so there's a procedure, there's a process. You got to go through the entry point. If you go anywhere else around that entry point, no, right? We need to be able to know who you are, where you come from, not because you're bad, but we're going to be honest here. A lot of the people that come in illegally don't come here with all of the right intentions. We saw that with Jocelyn Ngira right here in Houston. Brutally slain by illegal immigrants. There's been cases up north where illegal immigrants are in the sanctuary cities and they store them and they leave and they go commit crimes. The Democrats all voted no against sending illegal immigrants who assault police officers back to where they come from. They voted no on this, right? And so these are problems that we are facing in America. And for all those saying, well, there's crime already in America, yeah. We already have problems here, so why would we bring people from other places here that are just going to add on to the problems that we have? So 100% I'm okay with immigration, but we have to do it the legal way. I 100% support coming over for the American dream, but let's do it the American way.
Absolutely. And then there's this great quote from John F. Kennedy I want to read. It said, "Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, and meet any hardship, to support any friend, oppose any foes, to assure the survival and the success of liberty." The Trump administration and the Trump transition team and the Trump campaign has embodied that quote, that they will do anything for the American people to ensure the survival and the success of liberty and the American dream. And that is what this cabinet, this administration is taking shape to look like. A direct movement for the survival and the success of liberty. Now, I want to give everybody some time to plug all of the information, everything that they've got going. So I want to give the floor to Mr. Johnson just to talk about everything the Black Conservative Federation is doing and what they're looking forward to in the upcoming days.
Like I said, us in the Black Conservative Federation, like I said, I am the state director of Texas with my deputy state director, John Branch Jr. And we're looking for an exciting 2025 with President Trump coming in and what all we're going to do for BCF. But right now, for our biggest push right now, we're having the Legacy of Freedom Ball for the inauguration. It's going to be on the Sunday of the inauguration. So you can go on to bcfaction.com and you purchase your tickets. And please, my Texas people, if you are going to the inauguration, come on out. Marcus Johnson say, come see us at the BCF Legacy of Freedom Ball, because once again, we want to show that the great state of Texas is better than everybody else. Sorry, Louisiana. I had to say it. But no, like I said, thank you for having me on this show. Like I said, I'd love to continue more work with you all here in BCF. And like I said, that's bcfaction.com for the Legacy of Freedom Ball. Get your tickets today. We have already sold out our VIP tickets, so we still got tickets to sell. And plenty of special guests that we have already on deck, including, like I said, the man of honor, President Donald J. Trump.
Absolutely fantastic. We thank BCF for all of their work. And I want to give Patrick Prudhomme a little bit time to plug as well.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, by the way. I want to thank the Chris Heasley Show for having me. You can find me all on social media, Real Baby MAGA or Patrick Prudhomme, PRUDHOMME. Lots of content coming out for you guys. Election season is over, but the work has just begun. Now is where we start. This is where the rubber meets the road, as they say, right? So we got to get active. We got to join the fight, and that's how you do it. So find me on social media at Patrick Prudhomme or Real Baby MAGA, and come along on the journey with me.
Absolutely. And always, this is the Chris Heasley Show. I am your special guest host, Caleb Holmes, hosting for Chris Heasley while he is out with his family, doing, of course, all the important things. We have a lot of exciting things coming up. In January, we have the inauguration of President Trump, January 20th. We invite everybody out to D.C. to come watch that. Myself, Patrick, Mr. Johnson, a lot of conservative organizations, a lot of groups, a lot of everybody. This is the family reunion, as we would say, for Republicans across the nation to watch history happen. We invite everybody to come out to that. And we have a lot of things, exciting things happening, a lot of galas, a lot of balls, importantly, the Black Conservative Federation and their ball. And we thank everybody for watching the Chris Heasley Show. Once again, this is the Chris Heasley Show. I'm your special guest host, Caleb Holmes. You can follow me at Real Caleb Holmes on Instagram and Twitter and every social media platform that you may use. Thank you so much for watching.